regarding it being fast, it's basically where all the appointments were almost one after the other. One after the other after the other after the other. It's just really It seemed like at one point I was having about 3 or 4 appointments a week. It probably wasn't that much, but it did seem that much. And it got to a stage where it was just a bit chaotic. Now, obviously, things are just moving so fast, you don't actually really have time to process what's going on. This is the way how my experience was. Now, that doesn't mean that everyone's experience is going to be the same. Now, mine wasn't cancerous. I will just lay that out right from the start as such. It was a benign giant cell tumour. Now, what that means is that the formation of the way how the cells are laid out within the tumour itself are large. That's all it means. So it really actually doesn't sound quite as bad as it does. It's basically it doesn't mean when the word giant doesn't refer to the size of the actual tumour itself. It refers to the size of the cells in this instance anyway. I've only learnt this by doing my research, and I will just reiterate that I don't do research by going on random websites and going onto forums and going onto random things which just are not relevant. I would never go on the internet when it's just not relevant. I only go on the internet when, say, the doctor said, oh, well, you can research your condition by going on www.blah.co.uk or whatever the website is. Okay, now that's because the doctor said that I could research the condition, not because I've just randomly gone on that website. And that's just way how I would do things. I don't believe that you should go on random websites, because that's just exactly how unfortunate occurrences occur, where people start getting misled or misinterpret information and start thinking, oh gosh, something really bad's gonna happen, and oh look at this really bad experience someone's had. Well, actually no, that really is just not the case. That's another reason why I'm doing this video, is partially to raise the awareness of sarcoma tumours, and partially to say, actually, if you're going to go on the internet and going to do your research, which, yes, by all means, I do appreciate everyone's going to do. I did do that, but I did it legitimately because I knew where I was going to be going. I knew that I was going to be going to the Nuffield Orthopaedic Centre in Oxford, which is essentially the closest sarcoma unit to where I live. I knew the doctors which I was going to be being dealt with, treated by, and I knew that it was going to be all on the NHS. I knew where I was going. I knew that there's a brilliant charity out there called Sarcoma UK, which is, if you're not already on Twitter at all, and you haven't actually looked it up at all, or gone on my Twitter page, there is a banner on right at the top sort of section. So you've got my profile picture as such, and then to one side you've got, right at the top I should say, you've got the I've got a banner of sarcoma. I'm really not going to hide behind sarcoma. I'm not proud of that fact, but I'm really open about talking about it. I didn't realise how little is known, and there really isn't much knowledge about sarcoma. Um, there is the cancerous forms, and there are benign forms. There's over 100 different types of sarcomas. Um, the charity that I've just mentioned, Sarcoma UK, they are based in the UK, as the name may suggest to you all. For those who aren't based in the UK, and they provide this fantastic information booklet, along with some like a little key ring, and which is noted in the banner that I've got on my Twitter page, and they've got a Twitter page themselves. They've got a Facebook page. They've got, I believe they've got a Facebook page anyway. I hope they have, because otherwise, if they haven't, I'm going to look a little bit silly. Their Cancer UK are also a fantastic place to go. The support that's out there when you're going through such a I'm going to say turmoil or such uncertainty, when you're going through. Initially, it sounds like you're going through so much so quickly. All this information is just being bombarded at you, and it really does feel like that. I can't stress how you do want to be taking people with you. If it's not a family member, I would highly recommend that you take a friend or someone that you trust with you, someone that's going to be there right from word go to the word, just all the way through. You're going to need them. You're going to need support. It's not cancer, and I will just reiterate that. For me, it wasn't cancer, but I needed the support. You're going to need the assistance. You're going to need everything. I found Sarcoma UK fantastic. Cancer UK, for understanding the type of tumour that I've got, are brilliant. I found Nuffield Orthopaedic Centre. I've found their Twitter page brilliant. I'm a massive fan of social media, as you may have noticed. And that's my release. That's how I do things, and that's how I deal with things. And unfortunately, even though I found a release, unfortunately, I've recently been diagnosed a lot with. This sucks. I'm sorry. But I've also been diagnosed with PTSD. So although I thought I was dealing with everything really well, apparently I wasn't. And it does bother me that I thought that, you know, I knew what was coming up. I knew that I would have physio. I knew it wouldn't be a quick healing process. I always knew that. I was always told right when you were going through the sort of pre-operation process, all the rest that goes into it, and I will revert back to that in a second, that it will be a 9-month recovery process. It turns out for me it's going to be 12 months. Again, I'll explain that a little bit in a minute, or I'll go into that in further detail. Things have gone a little bit quirky of late. If you're following me on Twitter, again, you may notice that I did almost regular updates on Twitter, just leading up to my operation. Then I did maybe weekly, or certainly, maybe every 10 days or so. I was relatively frequent anyway. Well, then, unfortunately, of late, and it's not due to work commitments. I apologise for the camera unsteadiness. I've just changed hands. I'm not so good with my left hand, it turns out. Hey, so I just changed with the frequency of my updates. The reason for that is not because I didn't want to update. I almost couldn't deal with what was going on. I couldn't understand, I couldn't comprehend the fact that from a giant cell tumour on what's known as the popliteal fossa. If I've pronounced that incorrectly, please correct me, that's fine. I'm not going to cry, by the way. I will just let everyone know, don't worry. It's just that something like this, because I had no idea that I had the symptoms and that it was benign. It wasn't cancer. And some person, I'm so sorry that I can't remember your name, and when I share this on Twitter, they're probably going to say, "Oh, it was me, it was me." Again, they had I can't remember whether it was either a cancerous or a non-cancerous sarcoma.